Hello all, welcome back. So today we will see another Java interview question. So it's commonly asked like, what is the difference between finally and finalize in Java? So we will have a look into this, and let me create a new class, and let's say this is the final demo. Okay, click on main, click on finish. So now let's say if we have a variable int equals 10. Okay, and what I'm doing is that I'm incrementing the value of a, and now I will just print out a. Correct. Let's see what will be the output in this case. Okay, it's 11 as expected. So now if I write final over here, right, so you can see that Eclipse is throwing an error over here, and it basically tells that now we cannot increment the value of a. So what final does is that it helps to declare a as a constant. So now a will have a value of 10 and the value cannot be changed. So I will just comment out and write out over here, final is used to basically declare a constant in Java. Okay, and what it means that the value cannot be changed. Value cannot be changed, right? So now we'll just have to comment out this because it's throwing an error. Now we can just run the code again, and now see it's 10. So basically if we are putting this final keyword before a variable, then we cannot change the value of the variable. So this is clear. I will just write down over here. So final is clear, and it is used to declare a constant. And the second point is that value, we cannot change value further. We cannot change value further. Okay, so now final is done. Now let's see finally. So finally is basically used in case of try catch block. So in try catch we have three blocks. One is try, another is catch, and one is finally. So whenever we will have a try catch blocks, then finally will come into picture, and there is that is how finally is used. So I will just write down a code to kind of demonstrate this particular thing. So yeah, let me close this and create a new class. Let's say this is finally demo. Click on main, click on finish. Right, now let's say I write a code. Let's say if int a is 20, correct, and now what I'm doing is I'm writing down system.out.println a divided by 0. So once we print this statement, so division by 0 is not possible, so we will get a error inside the console. So let me just run this code. Okay, now you can see that we got a exception, and it is arithmetic exception, divide by 0. So this is the exception, and the program was not able to execute. So to overcome this particular issue, what we can do is that we need to wrap up the codes into try and catch blocks. So what we can do is that, okay, so I know that this particular piece of code is throwing the exception, so I will just write down a try block, right? And once we have a try block, we need to put a finally or a catch basically. So I will just copy down a code snippet so that it's quick, and let me put a catch block. So catch exception e, what it will do is that once we will have a divide by 0 error, divide by zero issue or error, right, then the code will flow to this particular block and it will kind of provide us that what was the exact exception due to which occurred with the code, and also it will print the statement inside the catch block. And lastly we have a finally block, right, and let me write this is inside finally block, right, and finally is the block which will always get executed whenever this particular program will run. Code will enter into the try block, and if it will catch the exception, then this particular block will be executed. And finally is the block which will get executed all the time. So I will just write down this is executed always. Okay, so this is where we use finally. So I will just run this program once. So let me run it and thus just check the output. So yeah, here we got the exception. So what happened is that it went inside the catch block, and then this is the block which will always get executed whether we have error or not. So this is why it printed that we are inside the finally block. Now let's say if I divide it by, let's say, 5, then what will happen? Let me clear the console. So in this case there will not be any exception, and catch block will not get executed, but finally will always get executed. So I will just run it, and yeah, so 4. First it printed out 4 because 20 divided by 5 will give a value of 4, and then there was no exception, so the code didn't went into this particular block, and at the end we had finally block which is always executed. So we got this particular statement printed over here. So this is how finally is used. So let me write. So finally used in case of try catch statement, correct. And just remember that code inside finally block is always executed. Okay, so hope this is clear. The final and finally are clear. Now we have finalize. So nothing to remember much for finalize. It's very simple. It's a kind of a term which you should remember. So I will just write down a statement. I will just write down over here. See. So the finalize, it's a method in Java, and it is called by garbage collector whenever we need to kind of do garbage collection in Java. So then finalize method will be called. So just try to remember it. Nothing, it's not frequently used in QA. So but as from a viewpoint of interview, just remember these things, like finalize method is used in garbage collection, and whenever we will do a cleanup of objects, then this particular finalize method will get called by Java. So these were the 3 important things, and yeah, so I have covered most of the things in this particular video, and you can definitely expect this particular interview question. So I will wrap up this video now, and thanks for attending.